Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Zaiton and I'm from the Madrid MyIPO. Thank you, organizer, for having me here. And I'm very glad to represent Malaysia to assist our SMEs to use this Madrid. Thank you to our learned speaker, Mr. Peter Wilmot, for a very comprehensive presentation. It is easy to understand the Madrid system. With that, allow me to concentrate my presentation on Malaysia as the office of origin to assist our SMEs in preparing the applications to international application. A quick overview to the Madrid system in Malaysia. The system is new in Malaysia. We only acceded to the Madrid Protocol in December 27, 2019 and become the 106th member of the protocol. So by joining the protocol, Malaysia can now as the office of origin and also as the designated contracting party. This Madrid system actually replaces the old practice of obtaining protection in Malaysia by international application. Before 27 December 2019, all applications are using the nation businessmen, trademark owners who wants to seek protection abroad have to go to that country, appoint a local representative to assist them in filing the application in that particular country. But now, after Malaysia acceded to the Madrid Protocol, local applicant can file application abroad and foreign applicant who wants to seek protection in Malaysia can file application using this route. Okay, Mr. Wilmot has explained earlier in detail about the advantages from using this route. We will not repeat the same, and so we proceed to the next slide. As the office of origin, what we do as the office of origin. Malaysia as the office of origin, as other officers of origin in the protocol, will receive and certify the international application and then will forward the said application to the international bureau. So it's our preparation for before we filing the application. So first and foremost, the applicant must have a basic mark, a basic application or a basic registration. Basic application means that the mark is not yet registered in Malaysia. So it means that even though application is still pending, you can use that basic application as the basic mark to apply for international application. Basically, there are two forms involved. There are national form, the TMMP1, we call it a handling fee form, and Madrid application form, the form MM2. But if the United States of America is designated, there is an extra form to be filed, which is the MM18 form, the form for declaration of intention to use the mark. Okay, once you submit the TMMP1 and pay the fee of RM200, MyIPO will give you the international application number as a reference number. The number that we are using now is MYIA/2021/001. That one is the first international application filed this year. Once we receive the MM2 form, MyIPO will do the formality checking on the form. We will compare the information in the basic application or basic registration with the information provided in the MM2 form. We will check on the name of the applicant. The applicant must be the same proprietor of the basic application. MyIPO will determine the entitlement of the applicant based on the provision in our Trademark Act 2019. So the applicant must be a citizen of Malaysia, a body or corporation incorporated or constituted under the law of Malaysia, a person domiciled in Malaysia, or a person who has a real and effective industrial or commercial establishment in Malaysia. These are all the parties that can apply international application to Malaysia as the office of origin. Another important information is that starting from February 2021, it is mandatory for the applicant to provide the email address in MM2 form. We believe that this is due to the COVID-19 pandemic, so easy to make the communication much easier between the IB and the applicant. Next, the representation of the mark. So for you to apply the international application, the mark must be identical to the mark in the basic application or registration. For example, if the mark in the basic registration or basic application is filed in color and the color limitation is imposed on the mark, so the international application will also have to be in color together with the color limitation. It is the same with all the disclaimers, the condition that is being imposed in the basic mark also has to be entered in the MM2 form. If the basic mark contains or consists of a word which is not in Roman characters, for example in Chinese characters, the applicant have to furnish a translation of the word. But if the mark cannot be translated, the applicant can tick the box in the MM2 form that United States, the words contained in the mark have no meaning and therefore cannot be translated. It is also important to enter the description of the mark as may be required by certain designated contracting parties, such as United States of America. So you have to decide, you have to describe about your mark. For example, you can describe, let's say your mark, the mark is combination of stylized mark and a device. The device is located beside the letter and it looks like a butterfly. It's something like that. You have to describe about your mark. So the application, the description is mandatory if you choose to designate US, United States of America. So for your information also, there is no provision for series of mark in international application. But for local formulation, we have an application, allow application for a series of mark. But if the basic mark or basic application or basic registration is in series, the applicant will have to either file one application for each mark in the series or select one of the mark and submit only one application. You could have two separate applications from the mark in the series, or you can only choose one application to file for international application. That's it for the mark. So next we go on to the specifications of goods and services. It is the same for the goods and services. It must be the same as the basic application or basic registration. It can only be narrower but never broader, or it can be within the scope of the basic application or registration. It is advisable to follow the specifications, the terms of the goods and services as in the Madrid Goods and Services Managers to avoid any irregularities. Kindly take note also that the MM2 form must be typewritten because WIPO does not accept a handwritten forms. You do not have to worry because the Madrid team, MyIPO Madrid team, will always assist the applicant in filling up the MM2 form. So after all the information has been entered, MyIPO will certify the MM2 form and then will submit the said application to the International Bureau. Okay, next is about the fees. So I just mentioned just now the handling fee, the MMP1, is payable to MyIPO for the amount of RM200. Fees that payable to WIPO, which has been explained earlier by Mr. Peter Winomak, is the basic fee and the fee for the designated contracting parties. And the fee is also calculated on the number of classes of goods and services applied. So I would like to stress again on this matter to always consult the fee calculator immediately before you submit your request or your payment order to avoid any deficiency due to the fluctuation of the currency. We move on to the common irregularities and remedies during the application and registration. So there are three kinds of irregularities notices from WIPO. There is irregularities on other matters, Rule 11. Irregularities concerning the classification of goods and services under the Rule 12. And irregularities concerning the indication of goods and services. That is, if the International Bureau finds the term of the goods and services is too vague or linguistically incorrect. But not to worry, the IB will inform the Office of Origin and the applicant. IB will inform MyIPO and the applicant informed of the irregularity and will explain how to remedy the irregularity and will provide a time limit of 3 months to remedy, and also will specify who needs to respond, either the Office of Origin or the applicant. So MyIPO has been playing an important role in creating awareness of the importance of the IP in Malaysia. With the introduction of the Madrid, MyIPO continues to strengthen its roles in many ways in educating public on the Madrid system and its benefits. So we have established a dedicated team to advise on the related matters and procedures and dealing with the Madrid. As the frontliners, the officers is continuously being trained by WIPO and others before we exit the protocol. Thanks to everyone who have been involved in this process. We really encourage our local businessmen to seek our advice before filing, since we believe in the philosophy of doing things right from the beginning. The IB is always on our side offering their assistance since we are at the infancy level. Also, MyIPO has always worked hand in hand and have meetings, seminars and webinars with ministries, associations and others on the availability of the protection IP either via national or Madrid to boost their businesses. MyIPO also use the virtual platforms in reaching this target group. We have posters, the like posted in Insta and FB, hoping to reach young entrepreneurs who are actively doing online business to get their rights protected. We are expecting to be more aggressive in marketing the Madrids once the pandemic is over. Here are some useful tips for the beginners, the first tip is concerning those who doesn't have the basic mark yet. It is advisable for the holder to file for application for preliminary advice and search, to seek for registrability advice and search for completing mark, if any, before filing the national mark as the basic mark. This is to reduce the objection to the basic application or basic mark. So the preliminary advice and search are now more cheaper from previous application, because we believe that we want our stakeholders to use this service before filing an application, because this is also very important that if the national application is objected, the international application will also be affected. So once the preliminary advice and search result is affirmative, the applicant can submit the application for registration. Also, we have, if you want to obtain a fast result, the applicant may request for expedited examination. We advise all the applicants to make full use of the Madrid Goods and Services Manager. For applicants who wants to file abroad, we advise you to study the country profile that you can find in the MyIPO website for the potential designated countries, to avoid any provisional refusal from that country. For you to use to familiarize and make use of the global brand database to search any possible conflicting marks before filing the application. For that, we encourage our businessmen to use this Madrid system to apply application abroad. Thank you for your attention.